younger, I was a proud know-it-all. My parents would rave about how smart their little Amelia was, even when all I did was explain a single thing on their phones. They did not get that what I did wasn't something any other child couldn't do, and I, innocent little thing, thought I had just accomplished the biggest achievement a kid could get. Which, in a way, could have been true. There is nothing more rewarding than making the people you love the most proud of you. But of course, I was only 6 then, and life had not showed me yet just how insignificant we can all be. Everyone warns you about the pains of growing up, and they didn't lie. Growing up is hard. It's a real pain in the ass, but it is a necessary evil. As I grew up, I learned that I was not my parents' smart little girl anymore. I met new people, I developed a personality, and most of all, I met people who did things better than me. All of a sudden, my little girl's big dream of becoming someone bigger than myself was shattered, and I was left alone with my consciousness, forced to trace a different life path at only 15. And it really made me wonder, after all those years, was I ever special after all? The most painful part of growing up, and the one no one warns you about, is the inability to ever predict what is going to happen next, what you will be doing, where you are going to be, and who you are going to become. The truth to that is that no one knows, but the goal should always be to find happiness, no matter what. Sometimes I question whether I should have chosen a different path. Perhaps if I had been more content with what I had back then, I wouldn't feel like every step I take is ripping me further away from my future. Then I remember that I don't even know what this concept of happiness is. Is it a state of mind, a feeling, or something completely different? Does anyone even know what happiness is? And it is not so much the need to eradicate the way I'm feeling at the moment, especially because I feel like we all need a bit of doubt to succeed. It is more the impending knowledge that I might never learn how to be happy despite it.
Exciting news, guys! BBC has offered to collaborate with you on their new project, and the 2 best works will be used on their newest show. They're even offering to pay you.
Okay, so who has any ideas?
We could... I feel no point in participating. Even if I did, who knows just how far I could take my idea, just how long they would deem it good, rather than something basic and overdone. So I half listened to my classmates' ideas instead. Their excitement is palpable, as well as understandable. It is a good opportunity after all. Yet, not even their animated conversations makes me want to suggest something. They become nothing more than noise to me, a very energetic sort of background noise.
Before you're free to go, I just want to check up on you and remind you that if you are experiencing anxiety, depression, or anything really imposter syndrome, the university has a great mental health facility. You can always talk to me too, if that makes you more comfortable.
I think it's so great that our teacher cares so much about our mental health. I would have never imagined that university teachers would care, you know? Still, there he is, reminding us that it's okay to feel different, especially mentioning imposter syndrome. Not many people even know that's a thing, when it's something so present on our everyday life.
You've experienced imposter syndrome before?
Of course! Who hasn't at this point?
But you're so, like, Good at everything. Like, you're talented and bright and so remarkable. You always get the best grades, you always have the best ideas, you you always look so put together and happy all the time.
Stop. Listen, just because I have good grades and look put together or whatever, it doesn't make me less human. If anyone tells you they haven't experienced imposter syndrome, they're either lying or really fucking lucky. Everyone at some point feels like they're not worthy of what they have, whether it be their work, family, or accomplishments. Everyone feels that way at some point. It doesn't define you. What defines you is how you deal with it.
That day, my life changed once again. I could not believe that someone I've known for over 2 years now, who always looked so sure of herself, could also experience the same feelings I experience on a daily basis. It was surreal, and yet completely predictable at the same time. From that day onwards, I decided that if Pansy could have imposter syndrome and be happy at the same time, so could I. So I threw myself at research. I wanted to know just how much this thing was actually stopping me from living my life. Looking back at my university life leads me to believe my first death was when I stopped believing in myself. When I started doubting my worth and my talent, and put my strength into praising my classmates' work, whilst ignoring my own. I would barely even talk about my grades, because they wouldn't make any sense to me. All my good grades were just an effect of luck. Luck which would run out at some point. No one's that lucky for so long. There were times, longer ago, when I would look at my grades and feel content, like I deserved them. But that was soon replaced by uncertainty. One day, those brief moments of content just stopped. It was as if I let my self-doubt consume me entirely. I lost complete track of myself. It wasn't like I was feeling sad or depressed. I simply felt numb. I remember questioning whether I was even anyone anymore, if I didn't have anything inside me. No passions, no goals, no nothing. Is a human really a human, if they're nothing but a shell? I bet they don't feel like imposters. Or am I wrong? Maybe I was wrong. If even someone as successful as Michelle Obama can feel this way, then I presume everyone can. I guess imposter syndrome doesn't really depend on the person's success at all, but on something else entirely. It could simply be part of the human condition, never feeling enough. But then, if not even success contains these thoughts of self-doubt, why do we keep believing them? Shouldn't we all just believe our results and accept that if we're being successful, then that means we're worth it after all? But I reckon it also depends on what success means to someone. Just because someone deems success to be something, it might mean something completely different for someone else. We are all different. That's what makes the human species so unique. We don't fit in just one mold. We keep creating our own and recycling old ones. It's part of life to keep growing and to set various different goals and dreams. In a way, it all goes back to happiness. However, the question remains the same. How do we find happiness? I think most of all, and just like success, happiness is relevant. Just because lying in grass, breathing in deeply whilst feeling the sun warm my face, makes me feel happy, it could be torture to someone else. Maybe to them, What makes them happy is making snow angels or starting snow fights. Dreams, success, happiness. It all ties together, doesn't it? It's quite ironic to think that all we need to be happy is to know ourselves, know our dreams, ambitions, and chase them. It might sound extremely corny, but it is the truth. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. But then, what's stopping us from achieving this? Is it fear? Or is it that constant need to control everything about our lives? That feeling that if something ever so minuscule doesn't go according to plan, your life will be ruined. Even the ancient philosopher, Epictetus, knew about this. He was the one to say that happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control, and some things are not. He was right. Our lives would be so much more meaningful if we just understood this. Why should we care about the things we can't control? That's entirely ridiculous, and it's holding us down. It's stopping us from being happy.
Well, that's great, Leah. We should really try to normalize this instead of demising its existence.
I know, but my problem now is that, hypothetically, it is all great and fun, but how can I let go of years of self-hatred and doubt so easily?
Easy. You live. You go to the grass field and lay on it, and you let the sun warm you if that's what it takes. I'm not saying it will be a walk in the park, but if you want to be happy, then find a dream and learn to love yourself. If each day you work towards achieving those things just a little bit more, there will be a day where it will be easier, and there will be a day when you simply be content.
It can't be that simple.
But it is. Life is simple. Happiness, everything. We're just too busy worrying to see that. We make life difficult with all our worries. This is not to say that there won't be hard days. Of course, life can be a straight up bitch sometimes, but at its core, at its essence, it's as simple as it can get. We're all just too afraid to try, too busy to see it.
It's been 1 year since I found out that Pansy has imposter syndrome. A lot happened that year. I was not the same person I am now, and thank God for that. Since then, I have grown and learned how to deal with my imposter syndrome. I now know that I should not let it define me, and instead push me to keep trying to do better. I'm finally happier. And today, as I felt the sun on my closed eyelids and wind on my hair, as I heard the birds singing, the squirrels squeaking, and felt the shadow of a butterfly kiss my cheek, as I felt the air fill my lungs, I knew that I was alive. Nothing could ever be as simple as this.